Hello guys, DuaGo here with the video number 6 of the qualitative research. The qualitative research we are studying from the book named Qualitative Research from Start to Finish, and the chapter number 1, that was the introductory chapter, was covered in the previous 5 videos, and now here it's the video number 6 with the chapter number 2, that is equipping yourself to do the qualitative research. And I'm hoping that you are all well and you are doing good in the quarantine time and in the corona time. And I'm hoping that you will be with me till the end of the video, and I'm hoping that you will subscribe my channel. So moving to the next slide of the chapter number 2. This is the first slide of the chapter number 2, equipping yourself to do the qualitative research. So here is the first slide. So in this video, we will study the six competencies in the qualitative research. Now, what are the competencies? Actually, the competencies are the abilities or the expertise of the researcher, of the qualitative researcher, and these competencies are sometimes mixed with the ethical issues. So please be careful that the ethical issues and the competencies are not the same. Ethical issues are something else and the competencies are something else. Competencies are only 6, but the ethical issues are more than 6 and more than 10 actually. So the 6 competencies that are the abilities and the expertise of the qualitative researcher and should be in a good qualitative researcher, those are starting from number 1 is listening. Number 2 is asking the good questions. Number 3 is knowing about your topic of the study. Number 4 is caring about your data. And number 5 is doing the parallel task. And number 6 is preserving. So these are the 6 competencies, and we will discuss each of them in our today's video in the next upcoming slides. So moving to the next slide. So guys, here is the first ability of the qualitative researcher that should be in a qualitative researcher, and that is the listening. So listening, what is listening? Basically, the listening is the observation in the qualitative studies. Now, what is observation? Observation contains the 2 parts. First is the hearing or listening, and the second is the visual part of watching. So to listen means to watch carefully the body gestures, environment of the participant, and hearing to the words a participant is speaking. So wherever in the qualitative research article you see the words time and space, these 2 words, wherever you see in the qualitative research article, you should understand ultimately that this paragraph is about listening and deep listening to the words, body languages, participants' environment, and other social environment during on-field interactions of the researcher with the research participants. So whenever the qualitative researcher is with the research participants in the field and interacting with them and hearing their words and deep words and watching their body languages and having an eye upon the participants' environment and the background environment or other social environment. So this ability is known as listening. So guys, moving to the next slide. Well, the second competency or the second ability of a qualitative researcher is asking the good questions. Well, a researcher of qualitative research should have the ability to not waste time in unnecessary details, but with noticing surrounding happenings should also ask the good and relevant questions about the research topic. A researcher should not just oh, ah during the interview, but should also ask the valid and meaningful questions during the interview. A researcher should not talk about own experiences, but should quest some data and truth revealing statements from the participants. So, asking good questions is an art, and many researchers don't have any idea or ability to do it. But there are the researchers who have this asking good questions abilities, so their research goes flying. So, moving to the next competency. So, guys, please pardon me for my voice. I have taken the 2 glasses of water, and still my voice is not coming to the normal voice. So, please bear with me with my voice. And the next competency or the ability of the researcher, the qualitative researcher, is knowing about your topic of the study. So, do research according to your own sources. This means knowing about your topic means to search by the sources about your topic and about your study. So, know about the topic first. See if there is already a work done on the same topic in the same culture in which you are going to conduct the research or not. Know if there is any repetition in your research method, topic, sample, data collection, procedure, data analysis, and the same results of your own cultural study in the previous result studies or not. Know the settings of the research by talking to the common people and to the experts about the settings, and do some participation by searching on Google and Wikipedia, etc., to know your study topic better. Avoiding repeating or avoid the repeatings, or do the manual repeating. If it is necessary, then do the manual repeating of the researchers all do. So, what is the manual repeating? That is taking the same sample, taking the same method or the methodology, or taking the same path of results and taking the same discussion, but taking a different setting. So, 1 or 2 or more than 2 things there should be in your research which should not match with the previously done researches, and that will be the validation of your study, or the cross-cultural validation of your study, by having a different settings or having a different sample or anything, having a different method or a different result or a different discussion, or anything which is different and unique in your study. That matters a lot in your study, and that gives a growth to your study, and that gives a cross validation or authentication to your study. Either it is quantitative or it is qualitative. So this is basically knowing about your topic of the study is important in both the researches, that is the quantitative or the qualitative. But in the qualitative study, it is actually the one of the 6 competencies of the qualitative study. This is the third one, that knowing about your topic of the study. So you should search your topic on the Google and the Wikipedia, and you should avoid the repeating, or if you are going to repeat anything, then you should manually do it by just mentioning what you repeated and what's new in your study. You should mention that this is a repetition and this is the new result which my study is presenting. So that will be a good method of validation of your study, and that will be a good competency of you to conduct your qualitative research, that knowing about your topic of the study. So moving to the next competency. So the competency number 4, or the ability number 4 for the qualitative research, is caring about your data. Caring means caring. You should care. You should provide the care to everybody. You should provide the care firstly to yourself, and then to your elders, and then to everybody who is in touch with you. And caring is a universal phenomena that exists in the whole world. So caring is actually the 4th competency in the qualitative research. And in the qualitative research here, the what is caring about your data is that collect data from the field, keep all original files in one file, and take a photocopy set of all the data, so you may get a single size of all the data in one file, and you may scan it and make them saved in your e-file, that is Word or PDF format file, etc. To save that file into your personal computer or laptop. It means to create a backup for your research data. You may also save them in the CDs, compact discs, or DVDs, digital compact discs. So you may do it. And do care of the original data by doing all this, because why you have to care about your data is because original files may be or of many sizes, and if once lost, your whole research will be seized, and you may not probably conduct the research again with the same participants, as they will think that if once you have lost the data, you may lose it again, and by thinking this, they won't cooperate again, and also you may not get the same data for the second time, as the data may be altered or data may be changed. So that's why it is important ability to care about your data, and this is the 4th competency. So moving to the next slide. So the 5th competency in the qualitative research, or the 5th ability of the qualitative researcher, is doing the parallel tasks. It means doing the multitasking at the same time or simultaneously. So this is about to master the this is about to master the settings and situations of the research field, and don't take a break until you collect all the data from the field. So while analyzing the data, think about the result implications too, and also think about getting supportive or rejecting data for your result too. While asking the questions from the participants, prepare yourself to ask the follow-up questions too, and meanwhile do a proper research to remove the translation problems from the questions and the language barriers between you and your participants, and also managing time to rest in those hours which may not affect your research at all. It means that you have to take time or manage time for your own rest hours and for your work hours. It means that manage the time into the 2 categories: when you work in the field, when you do the questions or the interview with your participants and ask the questions, then at the same time you have to ask the follow-up questions. And then while if you are just say that making the results or doing the data analysis, then you'll have to think about the research discussion, that what supportive or rejecting data, or the supporting or the rejecting results from the previous studies you will insert in your own study to validate your result patterns. So this is doing the parallel tasks that do the multitasking simultaneously or at one time in your qualitative research. So this is doing parallel task is a competency or an ability of the qualitative researcher, and it should be there for qualitative research. So moving to the next slide. Well, guys, this is the last slide of today's video number 6 and chapter number 2. And the competency, the number 6 competency or the ability of the qualitative researcher, and that is preserving. Now, what is preserving? In the field-based qualitative research or in any other qualitative research, preserving means to manage the research in some parts or the chapters, like introduction chapter or the literature review chapter or the data analysis chapter or the methodology chapter or the methods chapter and the results and discussions and conclusion and what else, references. So divide your research into some parts or the chapters. So this is actually the preserving of your data, and it is important to save your data and to protect your data and to preserve your data. So that means to avoid mess or mishappenings or bad events occurring during the research. While sometimes you may not have a control over the messy things or the mishappenings or the bad events in the research, so then preserving helps you to get your data saved or to get your qualitative research saved. So preserving is a phenomena and a thorough procedure to run your research step by step manually and in an expected time frame with all the unpleasant field-based real-life happenings during the research. So preserve means to prepare a protective shield around your qualitative research to save it from the invading of any unusual happening in the research setting, such as drop of the participants, their bias, or any other trouble. Well, to manage the time to preserve your qualitative research is actually to provide a protective shield to your qualitative research to avoid the mishappenings and to avoid any time time-based mishappenings when your research is not going to complete on a time that you expected. Then you should use preserving, and you should manually do it, and you should have a schedule. You should have a schedule about completing your research in the given time, or you should manage your time such that the mishappenings in the research may not affect the whole research or the whole qualitative research you are conducting. So please, guys, pardon me for some mispronounced words which I said, because I am not an Englishman and I am from Pakistan. So you can expect that I should do some mistakes anywhere during the video, and I may speak some words pronouncing wrong. So please, guys, pardon me for it, and bear with me and with my accent that is not quite good today, and it is some kind of a rough thing which is stucking into my throat, and maybe this may be because of the hot weather which is in the Pakistan in the June and July and August. So these may be the weather effect on my voice and on my tone and on my accent too. So thanks guys, and please watch the video till the end, and please be a DuaGo. DuaGo means to pray for all, and you should also pray for all, and I am praying for all. I am a DuaGo and you should be a DuaGo. So thanks guys, and have a nice day and have a nice time actually. Bye guys.